Hello and welcome back to the series where I try to conquer Pendor in 250 days. Now, it has been a few days since the previous episode because I've actually run over to Valenbray. Now, Valenbray is very important for us right now just because I want to collect the various loot that is in this chest on this ship. Because I've received so many rumors over the course of the series so far that are basically telling me there's a hidden chest in Valenbray and the loot over there is amazing, astonishing, absolutely fantastical. And that's exactly what we're doing, as you can see right here. Look at the amount of various loot that we have. This is how many... this is how many rumors we've actually gained over the course of the series so far. This is insanity. But look at this. We could take all of this stuff, and this is just crazy. Crazy, crazy cool. And what we could potentially do is actually use this weapon. If we get to 13 strength, we could use this weapon. And literally, this is probably one of the most damaging blunt weapons that you're going to see. At least, you know, with this ease of use, shall we say. The ability to just get this so incredibly easily and quickly. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just amazing. Anyway. Valenbray is here, as you can see, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give this weapon to someone else, obviously. I'm going to give it to someone that can actually use it appropriately, because I can't, and I think that Adonia could probably use it. Yeah, as you can see, she's using some... Whoa, are you serious that she's using some stones? Are you joking right now? That is absolutely terrible. I should probably give her this axe, but it's a two-handed. I don't really want to give her a two-handed, if at all possible, so I'm going to give her the Masterwork Club with Spike. I think this is going to be insanely good for her. At least I hope so. And then we'll give Donovan the bullets so that he can actually use his arquebus. And there we go. Okay, fantastic. He's also using a Ravenstone battle axe, which is actually pretty good, surprisingly enough. And the heavy desert battle axe. I love two-handeds, by the way, but obviously being this, you know, that this is Pendor is probably not going to happen. Oh no, I leveled these guys into... Oh dear. I leveled these guys into horsemen by mistake. Oh well, never mind. It happens. It happens, eh? It happens. Anyway, what we're going to do, and the reason why I wanted to do this, is we're going to go into the tavern. I've already spoken to these guys. And we are going to say, I am looking for supplies here. We will get you the proper supplies. It will be shipped to you shortly. Yes, I paid for next day shipping. Anyway, baggage train uses 2 times various loot. And we're going to say yes to that. And there you go. Now we have a baggage train, which literally provides us with plus 60 party morale. Now, I'm going to try to have one of these almost all the time. But obviously, this is not really that important at the moment. This is something that is going to be extremely, extremely important when we get into actual combat versus people that are wanting to murder us and take our land and so on and so forth. You know, that kind of thing is going to make a huge difference. Now the question is... do I want to renew our contract for another month? That means that we will be spending another 30 days as a mercenary. I think, actually... I think it's... Is it doable? Is it doable for me to actually capture something? I don't know. No, I'm going to play it safe, okay? I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to renew the contract for now, because what's going to happen, and this is why I'm a little bit worried about this, what's going to happen is I'm going to lose every little bit of gold that Marius Imperator is providing us right now through the mercenary contract, and we are going to go bankrupt very, very quickly unless we make some kind of stride to, you know, get huge amounts more cash, and or we capture something really, really quickly. Now, I don't know about you, but from what I've seen so far, we don't really have that ability. Look at this. Look at what's happened here. The only thing that the Empire has captured from the the Dashar is literally Toldar Fortress. That's it. That's all that they've done. And it just says to me that it's it's not going to work. That's just not going to work. And yeah, I'm thinking right now that maybe what would be a good idea is for me to actually get a Weavery and Dye Works somewhere. Because I've got 26,000 dinars. I feel like I should probably get that in Windholm down there. Unfortunately, I've already run away from there. So, yeah, not that great. But let's find some vassals from the Kingdom of Salian and fight them. And we found one very, very shortly after cutting away. We found this guy. As you can see, he basically has exactly double what we have, because there was actually another vassal that joined. Yes, there was another vassal that joined the battle, which is not exactly great. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a strategy that I like to call a blitz strategy here, which generally is not something that people tend to do, because usually what you want to try to do is you want to try to get a, shall we say, you want to try to get on the high ground, right? You want to get on the high ground almost immediately, because the high ground is going to provide you with, you guessed it, additional range, and it's just generally going to provide you with a much easier way of, you know, dealing with things. However, what I'm wanting to do right now is I'm wanting to do this. This basically means that what you're going to get from this is you're going to get enemies coming over the hill, and the only targets that my crossbowmen are going to have are these enemies. And as a result of that, they will literally kill every single one of what they can see before the opponent even has an opportunity to send their infantry and archers over here. And their archers can't even see us. They can't even see us to attack us. So what's going to happen is exactly what happened here. Look at what happened. We have no more enemies to fight. Our crossbowmen are ready with bolts to shoot the next wave of enemy reinforcements, and you can see immediately we've got a kill straight away. And there's another person that's coming with cavalry here. There's another person on a mount, and they're gonna take damage. They're gonna take damage, or at the very least they're gonna be getting killed sometime soon, maybe. Yep, as you can see, he's dead too. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's super funny actually, because I remember a while ago I talked about this strategy and indeed even used the strategy, and people in the comments at the time were like, "What? Why would you do that? That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen." But for me personally, I think this strategy is actually one of the strongest that I have seen ever, just because of the way that the Warband AI works. It's just taking advantage of all of the strengths of the Warband AI and leaving very few weaknesses. Because what is a weakness here for us? What is a weakness? I guess if the enemy had a mass amount of cavalry, they could potentially overwhelm us that way. But again, if you have a significant amount of crossbowmen, which we do, then what's going to happen is anyone, I mean, look at what's happening right now. I mean, obviously they all missed, right? They all missed this guy, which is obviously not exactly what you want, but let's just say that they didn't miss, right? They literally would have killed this guy in the first 2 seconds of seeing him, you know? And that just goes to show that, you know, for example, if we had a couple of archers that were slightly better, for example, if we had Noldor, or we had, some kind of knighthood order archers or something like that, someone with just slightly higher proficiencies, then these fellows would have just immediately been killed, just instantaneous death. And this is the funny thing, this is an extremely safe way of playing battles, because, well, obviously, clearly, my forces are not wasting ammunition. I mean, you can see here, they still have bolts, right? They still have bolts, and you can see here, look at that, instantaneous kill right there for that halberdier. And anyone that pops their head up, they're immediately getting shot. They're immediately getting shot. And that is exactly what you want. You know, and these guys are coming in, and like you know, like they've got shields, right? They've got shields, but this is also a thing to think about. When they come over the hill, they're instantaneously going to get shot by a volley of bolts, and Empire Armored Crossbowmen have some of the strongest crossbows in the entire mod, and it's just going to destroy all of their shields, basically. It's going to destroy all of their shields, and you can see here that the enemy basically has nothing. They have nothing that they can do. They literally cannot do anything because, again, we are playing with crossbowmen, which means that, you know, the rate of fire is dramatically reduced in comparison to using Ravenstern archers, for example. Because if you wanted to obviously play with a ranged-based army, you could also play with the Ravenstern archers. But they are indeed going to run out of ammunition much, much sooner. They are definitely going to run out of ammunition very, very quickly. However, obviously, this strategy kind of fixes that a little bit, because they're not going to randomly shoot, you know, all over the place. They're going to be, you know, waiting for a target, and that's kind of the purpose of this entire thing, because the crossbowmen, once again, are indeed being very frugal with their ammunition, and on top of that, we also now have a strategy that maintains their ammunition count pretty nicely. And you can see here, look at this guy. I mean, obviously, it's it's a little bit unfortunate that the cavalry don't have more of an obstacle. Like, for example, if we were in a forest right now, something like that, if we were in a forest, I think it would probably make more sense, because then the enemy would have to deal with trees and so on and so forth, and that would obviously be extremely difficult for them. So that would be fantastic, but yeah, that's obviously not going to happen. But generally, this is just amazing. Like, this is literally, as I said, you know, this is something that I actually found out about many years ago, and this was basically a mistake, pretty much. It was a mistake by me in one of my playthroughs where I was, you know, in a bad situation. You know, I was literally in a battlefield where I had no high ground whatsoever, and what I decided to do was exactly what you're doing here, you know, what you're seeing here, shall we say. And I am just blown away every single time I decide to use this, because it is just so incredibly strong. And the AI also tends to use it sometimes, obviously by mistake. I don't think they're doing that on purpose, but it's very much incredible. And with the final enemies taken down, we have now achieved victory. Or at the very least, we should be achieving victory in just a moment once Lethal Durin actually hits this guy. Unfortunately, he is not that lethal right now. He is getting a couple of kills. He has gotten quite a few kills, actually, but yeah, didn't really do super dramatically against this guy, but yeah, there we have it. Okay, so I did get killed, obviously, as you might expect. I got killed by a couch lance. Yes, to no surprise to anyone. Yeah, I obviously did get killed by that. However, I did get 40 renown for this, and indeed 20 morale. Very, very useful. And you can see here we did end up losing 2 troops, which for me personally, I am perfectly happy with. As you can see, Lethal Durin literally got 13 kills, if you could believe it. And Donovan got 5 kills. Donovan got 5 kills because he has his bullets now, so he can actually use his gun much more. So that is extremely helpful. Anyway, yeah, we can let this guy go. I actually would like to, I think, marry this guy. Yeah. As you can see, he may very well allow us to marry him. He has no fiefs, though, which is a bit of a bit of a weird thing going on with him, but I guess it's okay. Anyway, we can now take a look at the loot. Whoa, there's some amazing loot here. This is actually kind of crazy. Look at this armor on this horse right here. The armor on this horse is 57. Obviously, I'm probably not going to use that because I personally prefer speed on my mount. But still, that is very cool. And we'll just take all of this just to sell, obviously. And it turns out that Anson leveled up as well as ourselves as well. So let's go for some engineering, more first aid, obviously, as you might expect. We really just want to maximize that as much as possible. We got some additional Empire Armored Crossbowmen and my Empire Cavalry. Ugh. Can't believe I made that mistake, but yeah, there you go. That's just how it is, I guess. And we're just going to move away from this guy, because that is King Ulrich himself. I do not want to fight him, thank you very much. So, we're going to get another point of charisma here, and I'm actually not entirely sure what to go for now, to be honest. Because, on the one hand, I think trade skill is really, really good, but on the other hand, I kind of want to see if persuasion actually has any kind of impact for us. Maybe it is going to actually help us at some point in the future. So I'm just going to maximize that as much as I possibly can. It is a charisma-based skill now in comparison to being intelligence, because intelligence is actually what it is in the base game, as far as I remember. Anyway, we are going to walk around a little bit. As far as I'm aware, there were a couple of vassals over here. I see. Okay. Yeah, so the Dashar are now employing the Chosen of Indar to help them out a little bit. And let's see if we can find some Salian vassals once more. And it looks as though we have, as you can see, massive amounts of them in actual fact. Okay, well, I am probably not going to be doing anything with these guys, and instead we are basically just going to move back to Ethos. There is no real reason for me to stick around here, not unless the Empire decides to go into an actual battle with them, but I would probably highly doubt it. Anyway, as you can see, this is exactly the reason why I decided to stay a mercenary. Look at my wages right now. My wages are basically 5,000, so I'd only have 5 weeks worth of wages if I were to leave and not be a mercenary anymore. However, you have to bear in mind, obviously, that if we were to leave, I would try to do everything in my power to gain as much cash as possible. Obviously, I am still attempting to do that, but also I would do everything that I could to try to get a fief. Because if I can get a fief, then that may very well kind of offset some of the major problems that we might have, with cash. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, let's see. Sell some stuff. Yes. Sell some of this. Get rid of that. There we go. Sell the horse, I suppose. There you go. 3,500. Pretty nice, actually. Pretty nice. I like that quite a great deal. And let's go into the tavern, see if we can find anyone that has any rumors. No. Okay, just going to have to wait here for a little bit of time, make sure that we get back on our feet. We really, really need Anson to be back on his feet. Oh, Igrim has come in. Oh, okay. Yeah, now we have to be extremely careful. Igrim is literally one of the... Well, I wouldn't say that he's... I guess he is quite... I guess he is quite powerful. He is quite powerful. But the one that I'm not really looking forward to, considering we're mostly playing in Empire territory, is Maltese. I am very much hoping that she's not going to spawn that soon, because that would be very uncomfortable. It would be very, very uncomfortable. One thing we could do, though, speaking about being a mercenary, I could potentially become a vassal. I could speak to Marius himself, and we might be able to become a vassal. I think that might be our best shot at creating our own faction. And there's 11 renown for just simply attacking a couple of bandits. It's always, and this is such a crazy thing that I have to stress here right now. It is always extremely important and really easy, actually, to do these bandit quests. You know, to do the bandit infestation quests. They are so good. We might be in a bit of a problem situation here now. Yes, Lord Fouchier is deciding to attack us here. 132 versus the enemy's 276. We are going to potentially get 52 renown for it. Now, once again, I am going to use the exact same strategy just because I want to show you the reliability behind this. The just sheer reliability. It's nothing to do with style or... you know, anything like that. It is just literally all to do with it being an extremely powerful thing to use. And let's see if we can actually make this work once again. Because the thing is, having such a huge... Yes, look at this. Look at what is actually happening right now. The first 2 volleys instantaneously killing two Knights of the Lion with 2 volleys and the Baron himself. And these guys are cavalry. Just bear that in mind. They're cavalry, and indeed they are obviously running relatively quickly. I mean, they're on mounts, so, you know, they're obviously going to be moving very, very fast. But you see exactly how quick we can kill these guys. And it's no bother, you know? It is no bother whatsoever. And the funny thing about them doing this is that they are literally throwing their lives away right now. They're throwing their lives away just for nothing, basically. Because what I can technically do, and this is something that I think is underrated as well, to a certain degree, what we can technically do is, after we've killed a significant amount, well, not even a significant amount, just a small amount of people, I can decide to retreat. I can literally retreat if I want to, you know? And as soon as I retreat, I can then come back in to the battle itself, and I will have all of my ammo replenished. And that is insanely strong. Look at what we've done right here. We've killed 56 of the enemy. And I have lost 0 people. I mean, we lost 1 person, but that was to a couch lance, and he's not even dead. He's just wounded. So, yeah, it's amazing. It's so good. It is so good. And obviously, the enemy's archers, they are going to be staying out of range, which is a little bit annoying, I gotta say. That is actually one of the things that I personally don't really appreciate, but there's not much for me to say about that apart from that they're being smart. You know? They're being smart about it, and they're you know, them sticking out of our range, that is, you know, or shall we say out of sight, because they're technically in range. And, oh, some of them are actually getting sniped right now, so that's pretty cool. This guy's trying to kill me with his little polearm. That's not really going to work out too well for him. But yeah, this is the funny thing. Technically, what we could do is just kill a couple more people, wait for the infantry to come in, wait for the second wave of infantry to come in, actually, and just kill those guys. And then what we could do is retreat and come back in, and then we could deal with the second wave. And I think that's probably what we'll do, because I don't really want to lose any of my crossbowmen, but I just want to show you this last ditch effort from the enemy halberdiers, because they have no shields. I feel very sorry for the Salian faction right now, because they have no shields up against an entire wall of Empire armored crossbowmen, and I feel very sorry for them right now. That is just diabolically strong. And there it is. There's the victory, 29 renown. I basically got no kills because I didn't die, but I was basically just standing at the back, not really doing much, because the enemy's archers were being rather, shall we say, hesitant. But it's okay, because we are now just going to be letting these guys go. As you can see, they both had good personalities as well, which is actually very surprising. And there's a gold bar. Oh, hello. It's been a while since I've seen a gold bar. Thank you very much. Okay. So what we can otherwise do is we could just let people take whatever they want. As you can see, Adonia took something, and then we can just take the rest, and we can just sell all of this wonderful loot. And there we go, 1,800 dinars for that. Not too bad. And yeah, okay, so let me see here. Nope, I'm still getting pretty unlucky with the travelers and the rumors, unfortunately. And here we have another vassal. I am still a little bit damaged because I basically just came straight here from the town that we sold at. And, well, thankfully, he doesn't seem particularly dangerous. He only has 111, so we shouldn't be super problematic here. But this time around, I'm actually going to be doing something different because, well, you know, I've already kind of shown you the other strategy. So we're just going to do the standard now, where we are just going to come here. Because this guy, as I said before, basically the other strategy, the one where you basically create like a kill box, because it is basically a kill box, you know, let's face it, it is very effective. Basically that is all about fighting against a much stronger opponent. Like, for example, if you have the Jatu, that is a decent-ish strategy against them as well, but still kind of difficult to use against primarily cavalry-focused armies. However, obviously, in this case, when you're not outnumbered and you don't have a huge amount of cavalry enemies or anything like that, it is actually a better idea just to get the high ground and, you know, do the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, and then you'll be absolutely fine. But, you know, I do think that having that, you know, kind of like flexibility is really, really fun. And I love that kind of thing. You know, whenever we have the opportunity to do something a little bit different, it is always extremely, extremely enjoyable to see that it actually still works. Because, you know, it's one of those things. It's a classic, you know, it's an absolute classic to see that happen, because it is one of those most enjoyable, formations that you don't really see that much of. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping that we'll probably be able to use a similar situation maybe in a siege sometime soon as well. And I know that it's probably not going to happen, and I don't really mind dying here. You know, it's not really, I wasn't really trying to stay alive, all intents and purposes, to be honest, but because I was just talking and, you know, just minding my own business, to be honest. And the Sarlian Knight should have done the same thing, shouldn't he? Yes. Anyway, no. Anyway, point is, what I'm trying to say is, when we go into a siege, I'm feeling like maybe we should try something a little bit similar in that regard. As in, maybe what we should do is we should try to create kind of a kill box ourselves. But the thing is, I'm gonna have to be very, very good at what I do specifically, as in we have to actually be good at killing things, which makes me a little bit worried, because obviously my stats at the moment are leaving a lot to be desired. And I'm talking about my combat stats, and that's because I haven't been successful in getting the Red Brotherhood map. If I were to get the Red Brotherhood map, we'd get a whole bunch more stats. We'd get many, many more points in strength, agility, charisma. Everything would be boosted up to the high heavens, and it would be so, so nice. And then, potentially, we could find a unique spawn that is easy-ish to eliminate. And I say easy-ish because, well, none of them are really super easy, unless you bait them into vassals that can help you, or, you know, something like that. But you have to be very careful on that too. Make sure that their HP is, you know, is high enough so that you can actually capture them to begin with. Because sometimes their HP is too low, and then they're not going to be eligible for the capture, and then it's going to be all very sad. And luckily for me, Adonia actually did level up in the previous battle there, which is really, really nice. Now, I'm actually wondering, I think I should probably give her a better weapon, to be honest. I think it's probably going to be pretty useful for us to give her something. I mean, I did give her that mace, and it does have 31 blunt damage. I was kind of thinking, oh, well, you know, if she gets any kills, you know, then I might be able to take people prisoner, and then that's going to be fantastic. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be working out that way. Maybe it will in the future. Maybe it will pay off a little bit more. But yeah, as you can see, the map has not really changed in all of these days. But to be fair, Pendor doesn't really change that fast, because everyone is so very strong. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.